with the next person who will do it, right? All right.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now, Frida, is I'm going to get a little bit more light on my face so I don't look like such a dark person. Hey, there. Ah. Okay. Hopefully that helps.
Yep.
That doesn't help that much. But okay. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to take you through the process of how we do university outreach and how we connect to different types of clubs, right? And so the first thing I think you need to think about is this, right? I feel like I've had this discussion sometime before, but let's go ahead and revisit it. So I'm just going to create a new document here. We're going to call it University Outreach, right?
Yes.
So, okay, let me put this to full screen. And let me share the screen to you. Okay. All right. So this is the concept of university outreach. So the objective is pretty simple: to organize a student audience to be interested to connect with, let's say, uh, industry level professionals. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So that's pretty simple. All right. It is okay. And then the challenges. What do you foresee as being some of the challenges in this work?
I think like how we should start the conversation.
Okay. How to start the conversation? Very good. What else do you think is going to be a challenge?
So like how to how to get there. They want and they will take our opportunity that we gave them.
Okay. How to get their participation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. And the third thing is actually, all right. I'll add another one. It's a little bit like chicken and egg, right? If you don't have an audience, you don't have a speaker, right? And if you don't have a speaker, you don't have an audience. Okay,
Yes.
so this is pretty normal. What you kind of have to do is you sort of have to fake. You have to fake it until you make it, right? That's usually the solution to it. So before you have a speaker, you need to get an audience, right? So you need to convince the audience that you do have a speaker, or you have the possibility of getting a speaker if you need one. Okay. So in this particular context, we have people who are willing to be speakers already. That part is a little bit more secure. So now what you got to do is you got to go and find that audience and convince them to listen to the speaker. Okay. So a few things. Let's go into how to start the conversation. It begins with knowing your audience, right? It really begins with knowing your audience. If you want to have a webinar or a speaker series, the best way is to discover if anyone has had it before, right? If you go around and you look and say, is there any data science webinars in Indonesia? Or is there any data science webinars in Singapore? Then you can find if anybody has done it before, and then you can reverse engineer the webinar. You can go up to the organizers and ask, hey, if I have a speaker, would your audience be happy to come, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty easy. You just look for existing events that have been done already. You look for who the organizer was, and then you go to the organizer and you say, hey, I saw that you did a data science event back in May. I'd be interested in doing one in the future if I could bring this person to the conference. And then they would probably say, Yes, right? Because you're helping them solve a problem. You're helping them actually recruit speakers. So that part is super easy. The next part about knowing your audience uh, is really understanding, let's say, what's their purpose, right?
Yeah.
So if you find, like, let's say, an organization that has a purpose of, let's say, making data science more available to Indonesian students, or maybe not just Indonesian, to just students in general, right?
Hmm.
Then this is very aligned. Okay, so that means you can talk with the founders or the executives or whatever, right? And you can organize a an event to help their purpose. Okay, all right. So this is the theory. Okay, this is essentially what we're trying to do. Let's give it a shot. Let's go ahead and go about this. All right. What's your best tool to organize this type of what is your best tool right now? What tool can you use to get your results?
Um, the best tools.
Yeah, what's the best tool that you can use to go and find a audience?
I think like maybe from LinkedIn.
Okay, very good. All right, so we can look for. Okay, that's very good. I didn't think of that yet, actually. Tools. Okay, we can look on LinkedIn. Where else can we go?
Also, in my university, like I have organization that the participant is from all of the faculty, so that from that I know my friend who study in computer science, and then I can ask him. I can ask them
Okay,
about, yeah, maybe
excellent.
the student club.
All
Yes.
right, so you can network through your social network.
Yes.
Okay, and don't forget, you can find it through Google and probably maybe even Instagram, right, or Facebook. Okay, so let's go ahead and give that a shot. Let's go and take a look. We'll start with your first suggestion first. So we'll start with LinkedIn. Okay, so we're going to LinkedIn, and let me go ahead and close some of this stuff. Actually, I'm on LinkedIn already here, so let me close this, close this. Okay, all right. Let's go on to LinkedIn first. See what we can find. Right. So we're going to look for on LinkedIn. We're going to look for groups. Okay.
Uh, Sorry, share. Can you zoom in?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to look for groups, and in these groups, we're going to look for data science groups. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Data science groups, data science Earth. Huh. Okay. All right. Let's look for data science groups. Let's start with UGM. Okay. Let's see what we find. Okay. UGM data. Maybe let's look for that. Ah, there's no data science group at UGM. Maybe computer science. Huh.
Right.
Okay. UGM ilmu data. Okay. All right. Nobody. Okay. Data science. Let's look for data science. Maybe Singapore. Right. So maybe they.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit more. A little bit more rounded. Right. All right. So we have a few. Okay. Good. 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 We have a few groups. We have this group. Uh, okay. We have this group. Okay. All
Hmm.
right. Building and okay. It seems like it's a closed group, so I'll request to join. And I
Oh
guess you
yeah.
can request to join too. And then this one looks like it's a closed group, and I'm going to request to join. Okay. Once I've done a request to join, here's what I want to do. I want to keep track and make sure that I don't forget about what I've done before. So this is where your Trello card comes in. Okay.
Okay.
So when you have a Trello card, what you can do is you can use this. You can use funnel template. Okay. And this is essentially a template to keep track of your activity. Okay, so let's say, for example, this is just for example. This is data science groups on LinkedIn. Okay,
Okay.
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down this group over here, and I'm going to write down this group over here. Okay. Oops, I think that was the same group. I duplicated it. Sorry. So I need to go over here to data science leaders in Singapore. I'll copy that. And then once I've copied that, I'm going to go over to this side and I'm going to put it right here. Okay? And then I'm going
Okay.
to say, this is important because this is called outreach. You're going to need to follow up later, maybe a few days later, to see did they accept you into the group. If they've accepted you into the group, then you can continue on your mission. The process of going from outreach to response to scheduling to meeting might take weeks sometimes. So you'll need to keep track of where you began so that you can follow up. Otherwise, they will let you into the group and it's already a week later, but you'll totally forget that you originally signed up for this. And then you'll miss the opportunity. So
Yeah.
keep track of all the different people, and this will help you succeed. Okay, so that's part of the outreach program. Okay, so let's keep on looking on data science in I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we can go and take a few more. Internet marketers, school of jobs. Okay, there's a second page. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, let's look for data science Asia. Maybe that needs to be a little bit broader. Okay. Okay, APEC women in data science. All right, cool. All right, data science forum. Okay, good. Certified data science specialist. Okay, this. So, okay, new groups again. And, okay. All right. APAC women at, okay, interesting, at Stanford. So I'm going to request to join. Okay, here I'm also going to request to join. Ding. And here I'm going to also request to join. Okay. So I've requested to join 3 groups now, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to go and I will, once again, I'll put down all the different groups that I've joined. Actually, let me do this. This makes it easier. Okay, I'll put in all the different groups that I've requested to join, and this will be one of my research threads. Okay, and then the APEC women in I know I'm not a woman, but you know, maybe but it's okay. I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they'll be open to that. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Request to join. Okay. So that's it. That's my first outreach, as you said on LinkedIn. So let's try something else now, right? So for example, let's try the next one. So for example, again, I'm going to now look for data science groups on, let's look for on Google, right? Okay. So I'm going to make my funnel template. And the idea behind this, Frida, is let's say, for example, they respond, right? Let's say one of the groups respond. Then what you can do is you can move this now into the next column, right? And so on and so forth. So that allows you to move this through the journey. Okay, all right. So that's that. And let's try a new thing. Let's try data science groups on Google. So we're going to go over here. We're going to open up Google, and we're going to search for data science. Okay, yeah. Oh, thank you, babe, for the. Okay, all right. Right. MIPA. Oh, there's a symposium already. Great. That's what we're looking for, you see? Mini symposium on data science. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, let's get all these to load. Okay, mini symposium. All right, too bad. Okay. This is good. Okay, this one I will delegate to you now. Okay, so you have a symposium, And what you need to do now is to find who organized this symposium, right? Who is the person that actually created this? So you can go here, and this is, I will just delegate it to, oh, actually, okay, I'll delegate this to Frida. Please follow up and find a way to outreach for these groups. Okay,
Okay.
so this is then pre-outreach. Okay. Okay. So we need to find out who the organizers were, and then we can go back and find if they would be interested in holding a symposium for us, which is good. Okay. This is mahasiswa dik juara satu dalam. Okay, good. So whoever's having competitions would probably be interested, right? Um, so what we need to do is we need to go and you need to do some research and find who organized these. Who is organizing these events? Okay. So if somebody is organizing a competition, who's organizing it? And that person who's organizing a competition would be interested if you could bring professors from outside of Indonesia to speak about data science, right? So that's also a good opportunity. Okay, so you just need to find out who that is. And then this one, okay, peneliti data science UGM membantu Kemendikbud RI dalam. Okay, all right, great. So these are probably the people you can reach out to, right? So now you
The
have a list.
researcher.
These are professors that you can try to contact that would probably be able to help you. Okay, so this is also pre-outreach. Okay, let's get a little bit more. Okay, so you're gonna have to find their contact somehow. You can maybe search on LinkedIn. You can maybe search on whatever. Okay, so now this is the first step, right? This is the outreach. Okay, so this part I think you can understand how to do, right? Search on Google, search on whatever, look for keywords, and you'll find data science groups and people who are involved in data science. Okay, so that's step one. Now, step two. Let's go back up to the objective again. So then your question is, all right, so how to start the conversation?
Yes.
How to start the conversation is a great question, and I'm going to do this actually. I'm going to invite you to this document, Frida.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'll put this document on your card. Actually, oops. Okay, and you don't need this. Okay, so this is your guidelines to research, right? Okay, and this is it. Okay, all right, done. University outreach. Okay, all right. So, how do you begin the conversation? All right. Next step is you need you need an elevator pitch. Okay.
Elevator pitch.
So an elevator pitch is in 10 seconds. Can you explain why I should listen to your proposal? Right? It's not a proposal. It's a reason to listen to your proposal. Right? So this is important. You're going to be very effective at persuading people to listen to you if you have a good elevator pitch. So your elevator pitch can be something like this. You need to understand their problem. Then you need to understand how you can solve their problem. And then you need to ask for a meeting. Okay? That's essentially the elevator pitch. Or ask for a meeting or a next step, right? So I'll show you an example. Let's say, for example, you are, this is a data science club, and you're going to do the elevator pitch, right? And you can say, um, I can see that you probably want to get more members and more awareness about your club. I can bring a world class data scientist to speak to your audience. Would you like to schedule a time this week to talk more?
Mm.
Right? So that's essentially what this is about, right? This is the basic. This is version one. All right. At any point, if you want to make this better, you can add more proof, right? If
Oh
you want to
yeah.
make this better, you can see. Uh, I see you have 20 members, right, in
Mm.
your club. Would you be interested in growing that to 100, right? And I can bring the leading, I don't know, expert in forecasting to speak about forecasting, formerly at Uber to speak about data science, right? So now you're giving more details, right? And so each time you get better at this, you should see a little bit more specifically what their problem is, and more specifically what you can offer. Okay, but you don't need to make it too complex. This top level is fine. Most people would be happy to have a guest speaker, especially if they have a club, and especially if your guest speaker is someone who is, let's say, pretty important. Okay, that's maybe for a data science club. For maybe a professor, you can say, um, you can say, you can say something like, "Would it be valuable to you to have world class experts speak to your students?
Uh,
And would it be valuable to you for your students to gain, let's say, professional networking networks outside of Indonesia?" Okay, and then same, right? And then you drop the same idea, okay? Like that. And then it's done, okay? So
oh.
this is the principle, and you can apply this to pretty much anything, right? Just understand what you can imagine their problem to be, and what your solution is. All right, let's give you a try. So let's pretend now that you want to write an outreach letter to, let's say, here's a good one. Here's a new one. This one we didn't really cover before, right? Let's say,
Oh yeah.
Frida, you go and you find out the people who did this mini symposium. Okay, so Frida does some research. She finds out that it's Pat Tular, right, is doing this mini symposium. So then,
Okay.
what would you write to Pat Tular to convince him that he should uh, he should let you bring your guest speaker to his audience?
I think like I saw your I find that you conducted the mini symposium,
Uh huh.
uh, and I think um it would be oh it would be great if uh oh no maybe you
No, no, wait, here. Let me think.
Okay.
Um, oh, maybe uh uh we first we said that maybe it would be good if your competition can be broadened uh from the word word class, like the competition is not only Indonesian but from all of the world
Yeah, there
on
you
the
go.
world.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. How would you like to make your competition more global, right?
Yeah,
How would you like to get a more global audience to your competition? Okay, so yeah, you got it. You got it. That's good. All right, so that's what you do, and this is what you're trying to move to. You're trying to move from outreach to response. You cannot control if people will respond to you, right? You cannot
yes,
control if people will be interested in what you have to say. Okay, that is up to the other person. But you can control five things. Okay, you control the audience that you speak to because you control who you approach. Right, you control the audience. You control the messaging. Right, what kind of message that you will send to them. Okay, you control the timing. You control when you want to send a message to them. You control the channel, right? Are you going to call them? Are you going to email them? Are you going to go them and meet them in person? You control the channel of the communication, right? You can talk to them here, through here, right? You control those four aspects. When you don't get success, it means generally you do not control these four things well, right? You never control if they will actually respond. That is their own choice. But let's say, for example, you write a email, or let's say you give somebody a phone call at 3 a.m. It's obvious, right? They're probably not going to pick up, and they'll probably be annoying. So
yeah,
maybe that you chose the correct channel, like they would actually take your phone call, but your timing wasn't right, and that's why you're not
yeah,
getting success. Okay.
yeah.
Let's say, for example, they generally professors in my experience always check their email, very diligent
Mm.
about checking email. But let's say you choose to approach a professor on Instagram. They don't write back.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they just don't have Instagram, right? So
Right.
you've maybe chosen the correct you've chosen the correct audience, and maybe your timing is good too, but your channel is not correct. You need to find them through email. Okay. All right. The next one is it could be maybe you picked the wrong audience. Maybe you are picking an audience of liberal science majors, right? Or a liberal arts major, like physical, and you're telling them that they should uh, be involved in data science, and they're like, I, I have nothing to do with data science, right? So you picked an audience that maybe is not compatible with what your message is. Okay, so remember these as you go through. You will probably not find success the first time. You're probably going to need to change a few things. If you're not finding success, maybe you haven't found the right audience. Maybe your channel isn't correct. Maybe your messaging isn't enticing enough. Maybe your timing's not right, right? Generally speaking, you should kind of understand the timing in your own university, right? You know when the semester begins, you know when the semester ends, but I think you might know the timing as a student. Remember, professors, clubs, they generally have very different timing than students. Let's go over to your side, Frida. Frida, have you ever been in a club or have you ever led a club before?
I already in
Okay.
uh in
How many
I
people are in your club?
oh it's around 70, and the other one is around 100.
Okay, great. 70 and 100. Great. How did the club find you?
No, they open the recruitment.
They open recruitment. When did they
Yes.
open recruitment?
Uh when in the new, what is it, in the new What new
New,
tahun ajaran baru?
new semester, right?
Oh
The
yeah, new
beginning of the
semester.
semester. So you can
Yes.
see, all right, think about this, right? If a club wants to get more members, okay, they
Yes.
need to prepare before the semester begins, right? They probably need to get there maybe a week before to organize so that when new students come in, they see that the club is organized. They probably also need good events, right? Right after the beginning because the new members will want to see why am I here? And if
Yeah.
the club can show that, yeah, you're here because we have these people from all over the world who are experts and you're getting connections to them and you can get a great job afterwards, then people will like to stay in the club, right? So if you know the timing of your club, you know when you can approach them. You know that timing. You need to approach them maybe before the beginning of the year, right? Before that, and then say, hey, look, would you like to get more members? I have an opportunity where you can get more members by bringing an expert that's world class to this discussion. So that's timing, right? And you kind of understand the timing in school already. Okay.
Yeah.
Messaging is part of craft. Over time, as you do this, you'll see that some messages will work better, some messages will not work as well. And that is your control in your persuasion. How persuasive are you? Can you get people to like believe and get excited and be inspired by what you're offering? And if you can, then you've mastered it. Okay. Okay, that's pretty much it that you need to do for now. The next step, if you do get somebody in, just come back to me. I'll show you how to prepare an invitation letter. Okay, an invitation letter, just shortly, just to give you an example, is pretty simple. An invitation letter is generally done like this. So let me show you. This is Natasha. Natasha is a person that I reached out to about a few weeks ago because I was trying to create your learning program, actually, Frida.
Yeah.
We were thinking about how do we create learning programs for new people who are hired at Bukit Vista, especially interns. I didn't have a lot of experience, so I'm like trying to find who can I learn from. So I found Natasha. Natasha does people development, talent management, and training management for Uber, which was a huge company, right? It still is actually pretty big. So I went to Natasha. She's in Colombia. She's Colombian, and this is the invitation. This is my sequence, right? This is how we began. So I began here. This is my this is my elevator pitch, right? Hi, Natasha. My name is Jing. I'm CEO of Bukit Vista, curious about building people development in my startup in Bali. At the moment, I'm seeking guidance and mentorship. I was hoping to benefit from your career experience at Uber. Hope we can connect to discuss more, right? So
Yes.
that's my elevator pitch. That's what I'm trying to do. And I saw that Natasha doesn't have a job. She recently got laid off from Uber. So
Mm.
I'm thinking she has the time, and, so I'm just reaching out to see if this works. I did not discover her problem, but I did find that people who like developing people probably enjoy having more conversations than doing nothing all day. That was my hypothesis, and it worked. I've identified who I was, identified where I am, and I'm trying to interest her just from the exoticness of this idea. Okay? So it worked. It worked because she got back to me. She got back to me. She connected with me on LinkedIn. So I said, thank you for connecting. I am impressed with your biography at Uber and how you brought psychology to recruit and develop employees. I'm currently struggle to find effective employee life cycle programs, and I thought you might be exactly the right person to ask. Natasha gets back and she says, great, I'm looking for new opportunities. Let's talk. I say, great. Can I invite you to speak at our research next week? So this is an invitation letter. We use Calendly, which is great.
Yeah.
Calendly is a great tool. I think you learned about it during your internship trials. And this allows us to schedule a meeting easily with Natasha. So
I have a
then,
question.
yes,
Like maybe uh how to show our credibility. I mean like you use your LinkedIn. You have a good profile, but if I use mine
Okay,
Yeah.
that's very good. Very good question. Very good question. So, how do you get credibility? That is a great question. That is a great question. Okay, so how do you get credibility? Okay, you need to. You can. Okay, there's a few ways. Uh, it's sort of like how do you get followers on LinkedIn or how do you get followers on Instagram? You kind of need to start authentically, right? Which means you need to accept starting from zero, right? I mean, everyone starts from zero. I mean, you haven't even graduated yet, right? So why should anyone expect that you would have, let's say, 10,000 followers on LinkedIn? So you gotta I think start authentically. You gotta accept that you can start from zero, right? And people will appreciate that. You can borrow your company brand, right? This is very helpful, and this is what's good about what we're doing right now. You can borrow your company brand. You can say, "I'm an intern at Bukit Vista, and we are a travel startup based in Bali." And you can even use the mission. We are becoming the world's most innovative hospitality company, or we want to become the world's most innovative hospitality company. Okay, and the reason you can do this is one, it ties you back to our company record. Somebody can check us on LinkedIn, and we've got like close to 3,000 followers, and it's pretty well established on our LinkedIn, right? So you can tie yourself back to that. You can also say the vision. Don't be afraid to say that we're going to start the world's most innovative hospitality company. We're not there yet, and we'll probably never really get there because it's just where we want to go. But when you say that, that gives a reason for people to be interested in what you're doing. All right. If it's just like, yeah, I'm just trying to get a job, or I'm just trying to do whatever. That's exciting for you. That's not exciting for me, right? But if you're saying you're going to build the world's most innovative hospitality company, and I want you to help me, right? Then people go, that's exciting. Maybe I will help you. Actually, that sounds like you're going somewhere. So you can use that. The other way is you can borrow my profile. You can borrow my profile. Okay. This is not a good long-term solution because this is at your own deficit. Um, this is at your own deficit. It's short-term gain because I have like what like 3,000 connections, right? Within Indonesia, I'm probably only 2 degrees away from most people, so I will know somebody that is mutually in common with this person that we're attempting to reach. So I'm usually 2 degrees apart from most people in Indonesia, at least. So, but this is short-term gain. You will be able to like get more connections and everything, but you sort of don't build your own you don't build your own LinkedIn this way, right? And it can be whatever, right? Like if you want to borrow it for a while, that's fine. I'll give you the access and you can try it out. But as much as possible, start authentically. Start accept that you're gonna start from zero, and that's okay. You're an intern, right? So it's fine. If an intern, well, if an intern approached me and said they're an intern and this is the other thing. How do you build credibility? You have to be, I think, authentic about the engagement. Meaning that when you are going out to look for these people, these mentors, you have to really say, "Hey, look, I'm really trying to learn. Right? I'm really
Oh,
trying to learn. I'm really trying to learn, and maybe do a bit more research about the people. Hey, look, I saw that you were doing this at this company, and I'm impressed by this. Personalized, yeah, personalized. If you use a personalized approach, then they will just go, yeah, you know something about me. So you are authentically coming to me with a real problem, right? Those are 4 ways you can get more credibility. Um, and you should be able to get pretty good results. Now, right now, you feel like, oh my god, but Kiki started this about 2 months ago, like, and I think Kiki was even slightly behind where you are right now. Um, and she just got the company award for the Vista award, right? Because she had the biggest achievement. She brought you guys in, and that took a little bit of time, but she's pretty amazing. She got us webinars at all of the 4 or 5 biggest universities. She basically, Kiki, single-handedly got us into all the major universities in Indonesia: ITB, UI, UNER, Brawijaya, UGM, kind of like everywhere. So that was pretty cool. So, anyways, this is good for you too. This becomes part of your ability to be a lifelong learner. Now, when you get stuck at something, you can reach out and you can network professionally with somebody, right? Okay, great question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
I
great.
did it.
Okay, that's pretty much it. Do you have any other questions at the moment?
Uh, about the invitation here, like
Yeah.
maybe after they responding us, the invitation is, I mean like they already have the template, or
Sure.
I mean like
Sure.
it's
Go ahead.
it just go directly for the invitation of the webinar, or the
Oh,
invitation
no,
of
no, no. Invitation to speak more.
oh,
What
to
you're
speak more.
doing
Okay.
is they probably need to know a little bit more about
Oh yeah.
what you're going to do. Invitation letter is really simple. It's just, hey,
Oh
let's
yeah.
schedule a time to meet, right?
Mhm.
And you can do this any way you want. If you do a lot, you start using Calendly because that's helpful. If you're not doing very many, you can just do a Google Calendar and then invite us to come. This is where we probably need to have a discussion. Um, so this is where, and eventually you'll probably learn how to do it yourself. Okay, but at this point, if you do get an invitation, your job is just to get us essentially meetings, right? As long as we have meetings, then we're good. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to meet and set a date for a webinar for some time in the future, right? So once we
Okay.
can set a date, then we can start organizing talent, we can organize the audience, and then the webinar will have impact. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty much it. And before that, you're going to have to do some research and do some outreach. So do the research, do the outreach, and have a target for yourselves, right? Have a target. Let's say every day I want to reach at least 10 people, right?
Okay.
Um, and you can make that target more progressive as you go. So I did 10 people my first week. I can do 20 people the second week. So that will allow you to accumulate. And when you do this, believe me, this is actually pretty feasible, meaning it's not that hard, actually. It might seem like, oh, challenge right now, but after you're doing this for like a few days, it actually gets pretty fun because usually universities are very easy. You're not asking them to buy anything, right? If you're
Yeah.
asking for business, it's hard. This is there's really no reason they would say no. There's actually no reason they would say no. There's
Yeah.
almost zero reason. Hey, I'm gonna bring you a great speaker. Why would you say no? The only thing you can anticipate is people will ignore it because they just whatever they're too busy, or who knows, maybe they don't check their email, or who knows, right? They might ignore it, but they generally do not. They never say no. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Good luck,
Yep.
Rita. Do you have any last questions before we end?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. I will upload this video onto your card, and in the future, if anybody asks you how this is done, you can tell them, watch this video. This is where I learned how to do this. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day too.